if the world hates us, we have to remember that it hated him first. Hello, knitters. Welcome to this episode of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I'm your host, Devin Ventry. You can find me at KnittyMcPurly.com. I am Knitty McPurly on Instagram. And if you want to email me, I am Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. This morning, I'm drinking out of my Texas mug. Hi, Amy from Texas, who sent me this mug. I'm just drinking some fizzy water right now because I took all my vitamins, and you just can't drink coffee and vitamins at the same time. It's not a good combination. Please like this video and subscribe if you are new. Welcome, new folks. The beautiful weather continues here in Virginia. It's not quite still cool enough for me to wear my new sweater. This is the Stockholm V-neck. Check it. Isn't it so great? Oh my gosh, I love this sweater so much. Again, and I'm comfortable right now because I've got the fan on and it's early morning and it's pretty cool inside my house, but it's gonna get warmer today. So it's beautiful though. I really can't complain at all. But I love this sweater. I'll talk more about that when we come up. Some of you commented that I got my sweater done really fast. And that's because I've had so much extra knitting time with my daughter driving. And I have to be in the car with her because she's learning. I think that I got my permit for 3 months. I had 3 months of parental help with driving, and my daughter has 9 months, which is so much better. That's the rule here in Virginia. So it's good because I get a lot of knitting time. Yesterday morning, my husband drove them and I had to do work. I couldn't I was like, oh great, I'll get this extra work time, but I lost my knitting time. Anyway, love my sweater. This is the first time that I have done a rolled collar like this because it is folded over. I think I showed that last time, didn't I? Wasn't it not quite done? I think I finished this right after the podcast went up last weekend. So I feel like I've had it all week, but I didn't have it completely finished on the podcast. Now the directions for the Stockholm V-neck have 15 ribbing rows here. So this should be bigger. And then you work 3, and they're rounds, not rows, 3 rounds of this slip stitch pattern. And that creates the rollover, which I just didn't know about. That's all new to me. I did not expect it. And it just rolled right over, and then you knit the back and you sew it down, and you're almost done. By the time you're at this point in the sweater, it's the last thing other than weaving in the ends. And you're do I really want to do the rollover and then knit all the way down the back and then sew it down when I could just knit the ribbing? It is worth it. I did not even block the sweater. And it looks amazing. I love my sleeve length, gives me room to do stuff. I can unload the dishwasher, I can wash the dishes, I can do what I need to do in my regular life. My sleeves aren't getting in the way. My wrists might be cold in the winter, but we're not there yet. Okay, progress and shop news. I do have kits for the Stockholm V-neck available in the shop, and you can get those in any color, Knitty McPurly color that you want. So for the sizes, so it took me, I think, 6 skeins to knit the medium, or maybe it was 7, it was 6 or 7. And the yarn is $30 a skein. So if you are in the extra small through medium sizes, that is what you would pay for the yarn in the kit. But for the larger sizes, I did offer a discount because of, it just gets really pricey. And, there's a certain amount beyond which we should not pay to knit a sweater. It's just too much money. So all of the sizes from large through 5XL are a little bit discounted so that it's just not so oppressive. The yarn is held double. The Stockholm Surrey Silk is held double. And if you wanted in mohair, you can include that in the comments too. When you place the order, just in the comments, tell me what color that you want, and I can do mohair too if you would prefer that. The thing about mohair is that mohair has a sheen. It's very, very pretty. That is what Petiteknit used for her sample sweater. I think it's blue, and it looks really, really pretty. However, it does have a little bit more of a prickle factor, whereas the Surrey has no prickle at all. So even though it's a little bit more matte of a finish, doesn't have the sheen that the mohair has, I really like this because you can wear this next to your skin and it's not itchy at all. Okay, I have 2 new colors. Oh my gosh. I have been wanting to have these for a long time and they are finally here. The first one is a cool white. So I don't know how well you can see it on the screen, but you can tell Jovis, whoop, there it goes. Jovis is a warm white, okay? So when they're right next to each other, you can see it a little bit better. Jovis is a warm white. This is Glacier, because isn't that just so icy and cold? That's how you can remember, it's a cool white. So Glacier is my new white, because I just feel like you need more than one white. White is a very important color, and as is black, and you need more than one. You can't just have one. So we have Jovis that is warm, Glacier that is cool. Both are available now. I don't have this dyed in very many bases at all right now, but you can always pre-order it, and pre-orders ship within 3 to 5 days. I used to have like 2 to 3 weeks, but I was really just building that time in case, like, especially back before when I was homeschooling and I had less time, I needed that extra time, but I don't really need that extra time anymore, which makes me think, do I even need to say that it's a pre-order? I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you can get this on any base you want as a pre-order. And my other color is called Slate. So this is a dark gray. And I just love it. Like, I just didn't have a dark gray. I have pewter, which is a light gray, but I needed a dark gray, which actually reminds me, I knit this faux set a few years ago, and these are all colors from 29 Bridges Studio. And I was thinking when I knit this that it looks a lot like that. I think she calls this color Hot Metal, and mine is called Slate. We probably have similar formulas for that. Aren't these colors so pretty? I still remember Brass Tacks, Rose Gold, Hot Metal. And I actually have some colors very similar to this in my shop, especially now that I have Slate. So if you are in the market for a white or a dark gray, let me know. Or don't let me know, just go order it in the shop. And it'll be there and you can get it. I'm so excited about that. So do you think I need a darker one too? Like a black, like a tonal? Because everything I do is tonal. It's not like a hard solid, like, you know, something that would be kind of flat that you would find that's as a non-hand dye. But maybe we need something even darker. Let's think about it. Okay. I also have kits for Stephen West's Mystery Musicale, which starts on October 2nd, which is coming up soon. Today is the 20th. You've got about 12 days. So put your order in now for a Knitty McPurly kit if you like one of the ones that I'm showing you. Order it now so that I can get it out to you so that you can start on October 2nd. Yeah, so I have been working on a Stephen West shawl too. As you know, the Faded Undulation shawl. I've been using the 2025 Knitty McPurly Advent Calendar in the fingering weight because I wanted to show you when the time comes what that looks like. This Advent, if you got one, this Advent is going to lend itself very well to a fade. If you didn't get one, there will be a few that go up in November. I'll let you know. It won't be like, oh, here they are. Oh, now they're gone. I'll let you know ahead of time so that if you want one, you can set a little timer and log in and get on board with that. I can't show you my progress, of course, on that shawl because it is a surprise, but it is amazing. I am really, really enjoying it. And this is one of Stephen West's kind of boringer shawls. You know, it doesn't have any crazy stuff in it. And he's got some with crazy stuff, like the eyeball shawl, or there's ones that just have stuff in there that you wouldn't expect, cables where you wouldn't expect them, color work where you wouldn't expect it. So this is boringer, but it's working up to be something that is going to be really wearable. I can't wait to have it. It's going to be great. If you got it in fingering weight, if you got the Advent in fingering weight and you're interested in a project, I definitely recommend this one or really any of the faded shawl designs or faded sweater designs that you wanted to do. Okay, if you are, if you think that you're signed up for my newsletter and you're not getting it, I did send one out last week. I recently changed providers, and it didn't go to everybody that it was supposed to go to because of a lot of stuff that I don't understand. There's all this back end stuff. I don't know. Technology is hard, you guys. It's hard. So if you want the newsletter and you did not get one this past week, the next time you're on my website, it is a pop-up. So if you have a pop-up blocker, you'll need to turn that off. So the pop-up comes up, type in your email address. It'll give you a code for 10% off. And that way you'll be subscribed to the newsletter so that you'll get it. I also have new stitch markers. Do I have them up here? I don't even think I brought them up here, but I'll put pictures up. I have new stitch markers. They are the enamel coated steel stitch markers in 10mm size that are my very favorite stitch markers of all time. And they come in this adorable little glass jar with this fabulous label that I designed myself and I'm really excited about. So I hope you love that. Many of you have. I've gotten lots of orders for them. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you supporting my channel and my shop. If you value the podcast, as of now, this podcast does not have ads on it. And I've been kind of torn on whether to monetize the podcast. I don't really know how much money it makes. I don't know if it would be worth it. I know a lot of you have YouTube Premium and you don't even see ads anyway. So I don't know. But if you value the podcast and you value the channel, please just, the next time you are going to knit a sweater, or next time you're looking for a pattern, or if you need needles or stitch markers or whatever, please consider getting them from Knitty McPurly. Thank you so much. Okay, next onto my personal progress, and this is new information because I have not told you about this yet. I'm on a total Petiteknit kick. This was amazing. It was such a wonderful experience from start to finish. The pattern was great, and Petiteknit has a difficulty rating on her website. It's from 1 star to 5 stars, 1 being absolute beginner, 5 being super difficult. And she rated this as a 5-star pattern, probably because you have to pick up stitches and you have to make short rows and you have to do the folded collar. I would not have considered this a level 5. I would have put it at maybe a 3, a 2 or a 3. Like, it doesn't have any I-cord edging. It doesn't even have selvage stitches, where you're like slipping. I thought it was pretty simple and straightforward. Anyway, I wanted to make something else by Petiteknit. I wanted it to be a vest, and I didn't want to hold yarn double. So I picked the Maggie vest. This is such a cute sweater. It has buttons, which I didn't love. I didn't really want to do the one with buttons, but I thought, let's just do it. I think it is really, really pretty. I decided to use my new color, Glacier, and I will show you my progress. I'm not very far because I just started it, I don't remember. It's been very recent. You start with, this is the back neck right here. And then you do these M1R and M1Ls, and it makes this pretty little detail, which is the back shoulder right here. And I used your trick that you guys gave me, I'll be right back. So you lift, if it's an M1R, you lift through the back. And then I just think I'll just twist the stitch. I don't think about which way I'm knitting into it, in this case, I'm always knitting into, not purling, but you always just twist it, knit it the way that feels like it's too tight. That's how you know that you're twisting it. And then I left through the front door, which of course you could leave through either door, but typically when you come in and leave, you'd go through the front door, right? Usually. And you already used right back. So the front is the other one. So I've been using that, and I'll just put in a little video here to show that, just so you can see it. Obviously not a tutorial, but just a little visual aid. Okay, so here we're going, you can see my needle has a little dent in it. Here we're going to be working an M1R. So I'll be right back. So since it is right, I'm going to go in through the back. And I know I'm not going to work it this way because I will end up with a hole. So I'm going to twist my stitch like so. And I have a beautiful increase there on the right. All right, so here I'm gonna do an M1L. So since we leave through the front door, I'm gonna go in through the bottom part of that bar. Now here, if I knit this way, obviously I would get a hole. So I wanna twist my stitch and knit through that tighter way. And there we have it. Okay, so I did a swatch for this and I went down a needle size after my experience with this. And with this, I went down a needle size. And while it did help, again, when I made mine, just to recap, I wanted the size medium, okay? So when I started knitting this back piece, with the stitch count of the medium, using the gauge I was using, I looked at what the gauge was and what the amount of inches that it should be based on the gauge and the stitch count. And it should have been 22 inches across, but mine was like 26. And I was like, okay. So I just kept my same needle and I went down to the extra small. And again, that's not the ideal way to do it. The ideal way to do it would be to use the gauge, the free gauge switcheroo worksheet over on my website so that you can figure out exactly what size you should make with the gauge that you're using. But I kind of leaned into that artist confidence and I was like, I think this will work. And it did. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. So I used, when I was doing the stitch counts, I used the directions for the extra small. But when I was doing the vertical, like if it said knit to 8 inches for the extra small, but 8.75 for the medium, I did the directions for the medium. So what I ended up with is a medium, even though I used some of the directions for the extra small. Okay, yes, so anyway, this has been perfect. I did my gauge swatch, got perfect gauge with one needle size lower, and my gauge swatch has remained. It has been perfect. It's a very tight knit. I don't know if you can tell, probably you can't really, but I don't normally knit something that's this tight, but it looks good. I think it's gonna be good. It will really make me feel like covered if I'm not wearing something underneath it. But I thought I would put black buttons on it, and I got a black puff sleeve shirt to wear under it. We'll see. It hasn't come yet. I don't know. We'll see if I like it or not. Okay. I also have plans to make one in slate. We will see. So part of the reason I picked the Maggie vest is because it is knit in DK. So this is Dubrovnik DK, and you're not holding yarn together. You're not holding anything double. So I really wanted to do that, and it has been great so far. Let me know for my size, which is medium. With Petiteknit, I am like permanently in the medium camp. For my size, it only takes 2 skeins of yarn because it's just a vest. Like it just doesn't even have sleeves. It's just regular length. So let me know if you're interested in kits for this, and I will do that if you want. All right, the comments section. I got so many wonderful, wonderful comments. Many of them were about my heart-to-heart section last week, and we'll talk about that in today's heart-to-heart section at the very end, which is our non-knitting related section where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. And but if you're not interested in that, then you can just turn it off and go on to another knitting podcast. Okay. Amy Smith says, Amy's the one who sent me this mug. She said, I just use the gauge switcheroo worksheet and it's so helpful. I just swatched for the DRK Everyday Cardi and I'm using different yarn and needles, so this helped a lot. I don't always swatch, I know. This made me do it and I'm glad that I did. I tend to be a tight knitter and sometimes just go up a pattern size or needle size, and the worksheet helped me decide I needed to adjust my needles and not my pattern size. Fabulous, that is great. If you need that specific information, the gauge, or if you're a less seasoned knitter and you don't know what you don't know, then using the gauge switcheroo worksheet can be a huge help if you did not get the exact gauge that the designer has presented. Katie B, Gryffindor Chaser, hi Katie, says the Musicale kits are so beautiful It's fun just to look at the color combinations, and it's hard to resist getting a kit even though I'm not planning to do the cowl. I especially love the parchment set. Something about the calmness of those colors together is very special. I agree. I love shades of white. I just think, and shades of gray. Like anytime you have like the same color and you just do shades of it, I think that's beautiful. Deborah said, I like Knit Companion too. I don't have the paid version, but I figured out that if you touch the little bar on the middle bottom screen and drag up, there's a spot where you can take notes for free. Awesome. That is such a good tip. I still haven't done it. I don't know why. I'm just a Luddite. Like I don't know. I know it's better. I should just do it. I even just started a new pattern. Like, what am I waiting for? I don't know. Partly also, I don't really carry my iPad around with me. I know several of you have said that you got an iPad mini for this purpose, and that's a good idea, but I'm kind of sick of buying iPads. After a while, it's just enough. All right. This week's knitting fantasies, I have 3 picks for you because I just loved 3 things. I actually just loved many things, but I have narrowed it down to 3. The first one, and this is a brand new knitting pattern, it came out just this month. It is called the Cleo Blouse by Irene Lynn. First of all, I love when designers combine a mohair with a regular wool yarn, not held double, not held together, but they have a part that is knit in either, fingering weight or DK weight or whatever it is, and then they have a part that is knit in just mohair. I think this is so beautiful. It would look great over a dress. Obviously, it's like totally see-through. You could not wear it without something under it. So you could wear a tank top under it, you could wear a dress under it, you could wear like a button-up shirt under it. I just think it is so beautiful. It comes in English, Japanese, and Korean. It is $8.50, and if you buy it today, it is 20% off because it is a new pattern, but today is the last day for the sale. So beautiful. So she lists 2 yarns, Cardiff Cashmere Classic and Cardiff Cashmere Prime, but she does not tell us if it's probably a fingering weight, if I had to guess. The bottom, the cuffs, the button band, and the collar. And it comes in 7 sizes. Awesome. Okay, my second pick is an oldie but a goodie, and I still have not knit this hat. So I've knit the Musselburgh hat, the hat I can't pronounce, Musselburgh, I don't know. I've knit that hat, but this is the Oslo hat by Petiteknit, and I don't think it is made the same way as the Musselburgh hat. Because Musselburgh hat, you knit that tube that just goes like this, and then you push one end into the other end, and then you fold it up, and you end up with that kind of, it's double all over. I looked at the projects, and there's like 22,000 projects of this Oslo hat, and I could not that I looked through all 22,000, I looked through like the first page, but I couldn't quite tell how this is knit. And also this is for a DK weight yarn, whereas the Musselburgh hat, you can use any weight of yarn you want, and you go by your stitch count on, you go by your gauge on what your stitch count should be. So if you've knit this hat, if you've knit the Oslo hat, I would love it if you would tell me how this works. I feel like this part is double knit, this roll up part, but the rest of the hat is not. That's how it looks to me, but again, I haven't knit it. I really want to knit a lot of Petiteknit's patterns. I just think she's a great designer. I think she uses techniques that are new to me or construction that's new to me that I just really am interested in. And I feel like I'm learning a lot knitting her patterns. Okay, my last pick, this is also a new pattern. It is the Momo Mati by Trin Anna Lee, and it is in English, but the pattern is available to buy in euros. So it's about, boy, the euro is doing well. Used to be the euro and the dollar were like together, but now the euro is winning. It's €7, which is about $8.60. This sweater is so cute. It is worsted weight. I love it. I love both of these versions. It's just got this bold motif that I think is so cool. It uses several different needle sizes, which if you have knit my Audrey pattern, you know I really like. you can change the fit of a part of the sweater without increasing or decreasing just by changing the gauge, by using a larger needle. And I don't know that that's what this pattern does, but if I had to guess, it looks like that to me. Whereas you get kind of lower in the body of the sweater, you use a larger needle so that to give you a little bit more ease without actual increases. I'm just guessing. I don't even know that they're using that. That's just what it seems like to me. Okay, because it's a 6, a 7, and a 9. Interesting. And this comes in 9 sizes. Love it. Okay. All right. This week's So Here's What Happened comes to us from Beth. Yay, we have a So Here's What Happened. I actually have a couple. Thank you to those of you who recognize that our knitting stories are our knitting oral tradition and we have to keep that going. If you have a knitting story, please email it to me. My email is Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. That's Devin with an I. I would love to share it on the podcast. Okay. Beth says, I have a friend, Cheryl, who is the ultimate Renaissance woman. We have similar interests of gardening, canning, lake life, and in recent years, fiber. She does 1840s reenactments and is in weaving school in Vermont this week. Wow, she sounds so cool. I want to be her friend. She says she's warping full-sized barn looms. Oh man, that sounds amazing. Cheryl would buy yarn just to admire and feel it. I encouraged her to learn how to knit with all those skeins she'd collected. And sure enough, she did. Her latest goal is a sweater. Go, Cheryl. She learned how to spin and has encouraged me to learn and even generously loaned me a spinning wheel so I could practice at home. It's a slow and frustrating process for me, but Cheryl keeps egging me on, so one day, fingers crossed. A most enjoyable activity we have done together is dyeing yarn with natural plants. We took a class together a few years ago, and this summer when we were kayaking together, she excitedly pointed to a large boulder at the water's edge and said, "Is that granite tripe?" My reaction, as my daughter would say, was, "What?" I'd grown up on this lake, but had never heard of this lichen. Cheryl told me it dyes yarn or fleece a beautiful purple pink. We sustainably harvested a bit to make a small batch of dye. It is in a mason jar at my home waiting to be used in the future. After that day, my interest in natural dyes grew, and now I look at nature even closer. I can use the mint from my garden to make a sage green. I can use acorns, coffee grounds, and even avocado pits. Who knew? We plan to use her equipment in a few months to dye some yarn. I'll let you know how it turns out. I am so blessed to have a friend like Cheryl who shares what some people might think of as crazy activities together. That is awesome. I love how you didn't just ham-fistedly just grab all of the lichen. You're like, no, we sustainably harvested just a little bit of it. That's awesome. I have had several people ask me over the years if I do any natural dyeing. And the reason that I don't, there's a couple reasons, but one of the reasons that I don't is that I feel like it doesn't last, that when you put a natural dye onto something and you set it down for a little while, when you pick it up, the color is not going to be the same. Does anybody else find that? Am I alone in that? I would love to know what you think about it, but maybe the color develops and it changes into something even more beautiful that you love even more. So it's fun. It's a cool thing for sure. So Beth actually sent me 2 versions of a story. She felt a little weird about the first one because it was, she and her friend had a misunderstanding about the word dyeing. She was saying, "Oh, I'm really interested in natural dyeing." And her friend was like, "Yeah, I can't remember how she worded it, but something about like natural burial." She's like, no, dyeing, like putting dye on yarn. And I told her, I was like, I totally get that. My kids talk about how mom's dying in the basement all the time. They just think that is hilarious. So I totally get it. All right. Thank you so much for that story, Beth. If you have a story, please send it to me. I would love to share it. Okay. This week's heart to heart talk. Here we are. The knitting content is over. Feel free to move on if you are not interested in the rest of the podcast. I thought a lot this week about what I wanted to talk about. And I thought I would start by telling you about my friend Angie. Angie was my BFF in high school. We were each other's ride or die. We were just the closest friends. And even after high school, we kept in touch. But our lives kind of went two separate ways. And in recent years, whenever I would talk to her, she would misunderstand me. And instead of taking what I said in the kindest way or even in a neutral way, she always read into it really angry, dark undertones that just weren't there. And as a result, we don't really talk anymore because she can't understand me. And I would say that I understand her, or I try to understand her, but she doesn't really reach out much. But I know that whenever I say anything to her, she always takes, and I mean 100% of the time, because again, in the past few years, we haven't communicated a lot. We don't live in the same state. But when we do communicate, there's no understanding. And I was thinking about that because of kind of what's happening in the country right now, where people can't understand other people. I talked last week about Charlie Kirk and how his death affected me so strongly. And even all week this week, like I thought I was done crying last week. I wasn't. It affected me so profoundly. And a lot of people in the country, and even some in the comments last week, did not understand. And the thing is that Charlie was a Christian and a good guy, someone who always sought to understand. And that's what we have to do. We have to seek to understand, knowing that we will most often be misunderstood. If the world hates us, we have to remember that it hated him first. If you're a Christian, you know who I'm talking about. This is it. We all grew up in a society that didn't hate us, but it hates us now, and it doesn't want to understand. It's fine with not understanding. And what I've seen a lot of, and this happened with Harmeet Dillon, she mentioned that an Instagram person whose name is Size Inclusive Collective blocked her. And that person was going around finding any knitter who showed support for Charlie Kirk's family or Turning Point USA or sadness over his murder. And she had this whole thing where she'd put up, oh, these are the people to go unfollow, which I was not included in, by the way. Size Inclusive Collective, if you would please include Knitty McPurly on there. I am in support of Charlie Kirk's family and Turning Point USA, and I'm against his assassination too. So please put me on there. I was a little disappointed. Of course, I didn't put it on Instagram because I'm just not on Instagram as much, but I thought that this would do it. Anyway. But the unwillingness to even try to understand, because what a lot of people are doing is taking one quote that they're like, oh, he said this, he was this awful guy. But that is a deliberate intent on not understanding, because you need to look broader than that. Most of those quotes are taken out of context. And in context, because you would speak differently when you're, talking to the regulars, the people who understand you. But when you're talking to people who are less likely to understand you, you would speak differently. So we need to seek to understand, knowing that we will be misunderstood. I thought I would just end by playing a clip of Charlie that I think If you're someone who has not understood Charlie, or you've been told, oh, he said this, watch this clip, because this is who he was. I hope you have a great week, knitters. See you next time. Bye.
Watch.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things like hormone therapy? Because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I'm currently 19, almost 20. I've known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like, with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not, what's helpful, because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you, which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body. I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis. Just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve. I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body. You can learn to love your body.
It's absolutely beautiful.